well, welcome back to another video. This is my September wrap up. Yes, it is the dying embers of October, but doing it nonetheless. I read 13 books and I had 3 DNFs. And this came out to 2,067 pages, which is my highest so far for the year, and 23.75 hours of audiobook listening as well. It was up and down. Like, obviously I had 3 DNFs, so like it wasn't the best. I also had quite a few low rated books in here as well, but I think I don't want this to be too long because yeah, and when certain books, when I come to them, I'll just push you to other videos that I had read them in or whatever. First of all, I started off the month with The World According to Kunk by Philomena Kunk, or Diane Morgan. This is her newest sort of like history non-fiction book, which came out last year, I think. I got it second hand because I really wanted to read it, and I gave this 3.75 stars. I did really enjoy it. It was humorous and fun. I just loved this character, but then like some of the later sections when it was like the modern day, I was like, oh no, I don't want to be reading about this. I hate it. I'm living it. I don't like it. But yeah, this basically just tells her version of the history of all world's events ever, space permitting. Yep. And it is quite like British and American centric, and she does acknowledge it in the introduction, mostly because that's where her market is, so kind of makes a bit more sense. And also it is more of the history of the like 1900s going forward, because we have a lot more, you know, records and stuff of that time. But yeah, like I said, it's humorous, it's fun, it's a palate cleanser, I guess, in some sense. And I would definitely read more by her. I do think I did prefer her Encyclopedia Philomena, I think it's called, which I read I think 2 years ago. But yeah, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it, you know. Then we had A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. Very small book. I did really enjoy this book, but I gave it 4.25 stars. It's basically following a tea monk who is like non-binary. What is their name? They do have a name, but I can't remember it. Sorry. My brain is terrible. And they go around making teas for people's like issues, sort of like problems like that and stuff. And but they sort of like want more. They want to hear the sound of crickets in the wild. So they venture out into the wilderness and comes across a robot, and who has come to like see if humanity needs help, because when the robots and the like people sort of like went their separate ways like many years ago, like it's sort of like sci-fi but more like dystopian in some sense, to see if they are okay, basically, humans. And they just sort of like talk together and like learn about human ways and robot ways and sort of like what they sort of want in life, in a sense. Yeah, I did really enjoy it. It was very well written. You get a sense of sort of like the world and stuff, but it's not that heavy. I really like the characters for the most part. Like, had a few issues, but yeah, I did enjoy it, and I'm definitely going to be picking up the second in the duology of those. Then we had a DNF of The Dark and Drowning Tide, I think. I can't remember who the authors of the books that I don't currently like physically ones, because I read this audio, but it'll be on the screen. I DNF this, I can't remember how far in. I think it was about like 10, 15, 20% maybe. I cannot remember the story at all. All I know is that I just wasn't really invested with it, so I didn't feel the need to continue. So there's that. Then we had Cassandra by Krista Wolf. This I read for my Bookish Euros, so check out that video for the information. This is translated from the German by Jack Van Herrick. I won't say any of my thoughts, but I gave this 2 stars. Then we had another all the next ones are for my book is Euros. Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk. This is translated from Polish by Antonia Lloyd-Jones, and I gave this 4.25 stars. I did really enjoy this, but I had like one certain issue which was just playing on my mind. But yeah, I guess I can also have a little talk because no one's really watched any of my Euros videos. But Cassandra, a decent story, interesting. I wanted to know about it. I like the intention. Execution, very poor. It was a horrible reading experience. It's basically sort of like really long chapters, and there's no, I mean, really long paragraphs, and there's no breaks at all, and it's just back and forth, and it's just like so yeah. Then we had The Employees, the Danish entry, workplace novel of the 22nd century by Olga Rav. It's translated from Danish by Martin Aitken. Gave this 3.25 stars. It's basically like statements, like very short statements with employees on this ship. I'm not saying I'm not doing that here. But yeah, I feel like it got a bit too sci-fi at the end, for like the last like 40%. I just don't really like sci-fi. So yeah, but I do think I would like to go back and check out some of the first bits because it did have some good insights. It just was a bit, yeah. Then we had another DNF, The Bridge to Always, author on the title, on the picture. I think I got two, I think it's maybe about 20%, maybe, I can't remember, of this. And I felt like it was fine, like it was decent. It was probably like an interesting story. It's about a woman, and she brings her young daughter to like the town she grew up in on an island, because was it her mum died? I think, I can't really remember. But she goes back to her hometown because she doesn't really have a place to live now, and it's all about her. And like the town and stuff, and she had, because the father of her child was like a sort of like a, not necessarily a fling, but like they was together when they were younger, but he didn't know that he's the father, and I think it was sort of like getting different people's perspectives on the story and just this small town and stuff, and like reconnect and things like that. I think it was probably decent, it was probably fine, but I just wasn't really invested with it, so I didn't feel the need to continue. Then we had the Swedish entry, The Details by Aya Genberg, and this is translated from Swedish by Kira Josephson. I gave this 4.5 stars. I did really enjoy this book. It was just like so slim, and just like the way the people around us make us who we are in a sense, and yeah, would so recommend that. Then we had The Handmaid's Tale, the graphic novel by Margaret Atwood, with art and the adaptation by Renee Naut. Yep. This is a beautifully illustrated book, like just like the illustration is so nice, and the red of the handmaid just like, it's just so like striking, and yeah, I thought it was just amazingly written, like, I mean, like adapted. I think it's an incredible story. It's still like the original. I do need to give a reread soon because I've been wanting to. I just really like, it's such an incredible masterpiece of like speculative fiction. Is that what it's called, speculative fiction? Or like, yeah, and like these things have come true, and it's just like, it's still to this day the scariest book I've ever read, and it's like a horror. It's not like, ooh, spooky, but like it's just like, it's scary. Of just like all the current things as well. It's just like, oh god. But yeah, this is an amazing story. I gave this 4.5 stars, like I said. I think it is amazingly adapted, well drawn, but yeah, would so recommend that. Then we had my third and final DNF, which was Kismet by Luke Shredget. I did start it physically. I think I got to around 70, maybe 40, 50 page. I can't remember. About there. So not that far in. But yeah, I just didn't really care about it. It's about a woman, and she's in like a relationship and has a job and stuff. And there's like this app called Kismet where I think it like it gives you a score of like compatibility with other people, and she sort of like I believe goes on to meet someone through it and stuff like that. But yeah, also I hate the cover, I hate the setting, I hate London so much, and just the bus and the start of this with the bus was just giving me anxiety. I don't know why I continued. I just left it then. I thought I'd give it a few more chapters, and yeah, I just didn't care, to be honest. So I'm unhauling that and giving it to my friend. Then we had Assembly by Natasha Brown. This was also for my Bookish Yours, the English entry. Gave this 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed this. I mean, it's so good to read, especially like now, sort of like the political and social like turmoil, the like treatment of Black British people, and just like the things you have to keep on doing to try and be as good as, but you're always put down, and just sort of the ingrained racism and classism within British society. And I just think it explored it so well. Maybe I wanted a little bit more plot, but yeah, still, it was a great book. Then we had the second worst of the month, Not One Day by Anna Garretta. This is translated from French by Emma Ramadan and Anna Garretta herself. This is a French entry, 1.5 stars, pretentious drivel. Pointless book. Hated it. I'm not very like happy, am I? Then I read Listen for the Lie. I think it's by Amy Tintera, I believe that. I gave this 3 stars. I did enjoy this quite a lot, like for the most part. Like it was okay, like it was fine. It was just like a thriller and stuff, and like a mystery, because it's a woman, her like address and stuff, like her like name is being made into like a podcast, because I think it was 10 years ago she like woke up with her friend's blood on her hands, and her friend had been like brutally murdered, and she has no recollection of that night at all, so everyone just assumed it was her. And but like there wasn't really enough to prosecute her or like convict her of it, and like she didn't have the memory of it as well. But anyway, so she was living somewhere else, and like she like loses her like job and partner, and so she goes back to the small town because like her grandma is having like a party or something. But then also it's sort of a trick to get her to talk to the podcaster, and so we get like chapters, like normal chapters going forward of her, you know, going back and stuff like that. Then we also get chapters of the podcast being read out, or like listened to in a sense. I listened to audiobooks, so there is like the change in narrators, which I did enjoy. And he is like trying to find out, you know, what actually happened and who was the suspects and other people that might have been involved and stuff. And it is quite interesting, and like the way it pulls you forward. I did think there was a bit like, there was the romance, I was like, it's not really needed. And I feel like it did, yeah, maybe I wanted a little bit more justice, but yeah, it was fine. I may check out her again if she has anything else. I guess it was just like a bit of like an easy read. I would listen to it like whilst on buses like going around, so it was fine for that, but like it wasn't really anything that special, but I would recommend it, I guess. Then we have Victorian Psycho by Virginia Fetto. I love this. So we gave this 4.5 stars. This is so like interesting and so good, and I just love the character. Like, I mean, I didn't like her, but I loved her, if that makes sense. It's basically a woman, Winifred Nottie, is like in England in the 1800s, and she goes to be the governess of this like rich house in like the English countryside sort of thing during this time, to be the governess for the children. And then sort of like strange things happen, and like, yeah, she only jokes about eating children, and she's just so freaking weird. Like, she's such a strange character, and she's so like interesting. And yeah, I really enjoyed this. I was like in between, like, is it a 4.25 or is it like anywhere from there to a 5? But I think it's probably a 4.5, but I have rounded it up to 5 on the Goodreads. Yeah, so recommend this. I would love to read her other book, Mrs. March. I'm not really doing a good explanation of the plot and stuff, but like, I thought you just need to read it to, you know, get to go to it. But I do also like, I think it did quite well explore so like the differences between raising a boy and a girl in this time, and like the way they're brought up and the things that they're told to believe and how they should be, and I guess some of like the classism within society at the time, and yeah, and just like the things that women shouldn't do, and if they do like certain things, they're like weird. And like, well, she does do some things that are like that, but also like she is weird. But yeah, this was such a fun time. I mean, considering the context, I guess. Then I read Peace and Quiet by Elliot Miles Emery. I read this first as an ebook, as a like an ARC ebook. He was asking for ARC readers on TikTok, so I said I would read it for him because it sounded really interesting. And then after the fact, he has given me a copy, so I will link, I believe, the description to the Amazon like page where you can buy it if you want to support him. But yeah, this is a short story collection. I gave this 3.75 stars. It's just like, it's like about sort of like trying to find sort of like solace and like the peace and quiet in some sense in this modern hectic world. But also I guess just like the way it explores these different characters and different themes and different stories, just like done quite well, and I did enjoy it. Maybe I wanted a little bit more cohesion, but like I wasn't really what's the word, like said I was gonna get that, so I can't really complain. But yeah, I think this is really interesting. My favorite one was called The Invisibles. That story was really good. Let's see if I have any other ones I remember really liking. All of Remembrance was good about sort of like dementia. Like it does, like, has some like sad themes, but like ones that are like important as well. And The Museum, which was the final one, was really good as well. So yeah, definitely recommend giving this book a read. Sorry I haven't really said that much about like the plot and stuff, because like it is short stories. And then finally finish on the worst book of the month and the worst of the year so far, which was Brat by Gabriel someone. 1.25 stars. Absolutely hated it. So pointless. Like it's just crickets. Plot is about a guy called Gabriel, okay. And he is like tasked with clearing out his his family home, because their dad has just died, I believe, and the mother is in like a care home. And he finds this like manuscript that was written by either one of the parents, that he believes, and like every time he looks at it, it changes like the plot of the book. And there's also these like VHS tapes where like if he watches them, there's like different people in it each time, like a different family and stuff, and it was had all these like interesting nodes, but like nothing really came of them. Like honestly cannot remember like the last like 20 minutes of listening to it. I just don't remember what happened at all. And his like brother and like his wife, and like disagreements in the family and stuff, and he's obsessed with like his dick, and just like it's just, some people say it's like a exploration of grief and like different forms of grieving, and like some of us I remember I was reading some Goodreads reviews, and people were like, if this is like a book like if you don't like it, you just don't get it, then like I don't want to just get it, or something on those lines. I was like, same, like I don't care like, if you liked it, like okay, I have questions, but you do use this. Anyway, I probably haven't really said much about it many of the books, but I wanted to do this quickly, and I think under 20 minutes at the moment for 16 books in a sense to talk about. It's quite good going for me. But yeah, check out the Bookish Yours playlist for more information on some books, especially The Details and Drive Your Plough of the Winds of the Dead and Assembly. Really good books. And hope you enjoyed this, and I shall see you very soon. Have a nice morning, wherever you are in the world.